Hi, welcome to my channel. This is Samuel Loomis Newly Awakened, or commonly known as on this channel, Samuel Durbridge. I am a writer, a author my book of Alien Perceptions of Possible Truth. This recording is going to be the recording of Chapter 6. Now, I've had a few experiences, and it seems like my targeting or being targeted is kind of a back and forth situation of awareness. I wanted to bring up the fact that due to the way the world is going, it seems like it's going one particular direction. And this direction I was shown or told or seen in different visions and different awarenesses, and it seems like the same pattern is happening again. The same, not necessarily threat or awareness, but more of someone that's under a certain regime banner or allowing the same rules or regulations to still be upheld. It seems to be pushing a directional pattern that I've noticed lately and recently, which is the pattern of, what do you call it? Allowing the connected bases programs to stay existent to a degree, but there was some form of tech war that was going to happen. And it seems like what's happened already is they've been pushing a lot of those similar kind of things towards a certain goal. Now, a lot of religious regimes all understood or all felt that this direction was where it was headed or where it was being pushed or told to be pushed towards. Basically, a Armageddon form of directional path is being set up and being pushed into that purposeful, directional, required, or desired outcome. So what is that? What is that desired outcome? Well, basically, it says in the scriptures of the different belief systems about a war or disease or situation, and it's kind of the tech war connected with regular pushery of other things, which is the direction of a form of, I don't know how to explain, form of different attacks on men. And you know, the book of Enoch explains that this happened before with fallen angels or fallen beings that took women and multiplied with those women their species. And then the men were eaten by the giants, the babies, or Nephilim of these beings. Now, why do I bring that up? Because what is going on, if you noticed, is men are being pushed aside and they are being eaten or whatever. Now, the ancient texts talk about a time when men and women become equal and they're there for each other, and they're recognizing what's happening instead of allowing the HCTs to take the women and make babies out of them. Basically, they're messing with the men, so the men will not be able to have sperm to create any of their species anymore. And then they're going to take the women and keeping them to make more hybrids of their species instead of human species not being able to have our species to even really exist. It's going to be hybrid species. And so what they've done is they've messed with the men's sperm or their issues, keeping the good ones or the ones that would keep peace and freedom to not allow slavery or whatever to die off. And then the ones that they've chosen or have messed with or allowed to survive or happens to survive and doesn't die because of their choices of eating, mostly, and the blocking of those issues and the focuses of manifesting their desired reality. Those that do that, those that are the oil maker type of individuals in the Black Plague time, survive. Those in this time frame and before that, anytime it's happened, when a big plague came by. Now, why am I bringing that up? Because there's so many different plagues and issues that are concerning people that people are noticing. Well, one of them has to do with 5G. Another has to deal with the issues of the coronavirus and other viruses and other diseases that are happening. The flus are usually pretty powerful. The vaccine and medicine cause deaths and slow cancers. So they're making it seem natural or God's will by doing different things to different individuals to see what's faster. And then acting like they're trying to contain it, but then allowing a ton of deaths to happen, or certain things that they've chosen not to contain until agreements have been made. And so what's happened is they're killing off certain individuals or certain people, but the ones that actually protect themselves, the ones that actually are eating the right foods, are surviving and not being killed off, they're going to be the ones that are the ones that decide what happens to the future of the species and the world. The ones that free or enslave. That's why I always recommend let's meditate, let's pray, let's come together, because it's getting to a point where they're trying to kill you and others off that are considered good individuals. And if you're not choosing to freely meditate right now because you don't think it's necessary or you don't feel you have time, this is a meditation that we need to take seriously for happiness for others. And some people, but I don't want to worry, I don't want to be concerned. And it's not about worry, it's about a fact of choice of urgency, recognizing that there's a pattern going on and paying attention to that pattern and realizing that helping me manifest my desired requirements and others and yourself helps us to be stress-free, helps us have the means so that we can cover our bases and protect us from these diseases and things that are happening. So we can grow our own food, have our own land with our own food, and to pray and meditate with it helps a barrier happen. And then coming together, even if you're not together, thinking good thoughts about each other to keep each other safe in a thought-focused process. You can call your deity out, whatever, anything that you feel is a good vibrational healing, and thinking that it's going to happen in a certain timing of that deity's choice. You got to understand, you are the connected deity to that deity. That deity knows your suffering and situation and knows what's about to happen. And so it's going to start to become more clear to you as you listen to your heart fully that meditating and manifesting stuff or things is very important. Some will try to wait until last minute. But right now, with all the diseases and things trying to be pushed, even the secret ones you don't know of that they're not talking about, even the secret controls, the political strategies, the things that have been going on in your air for years now. And for people who are starting to realize they know about chemtrails, they know about that, but they're like, oh, but I'm not getting affected. You are. It's a brain-controlled form of chems. And they're messing with your desires, your feelings, your focuses, and they're getting you to be tired, or they're getting you not to be tired. It's a focus of control. And so what's happening is if you meditate and manifest things with me, or people who actually have pure hearts, or are doing their best to have a pure heart, however you want to look at the pure heart, doesn't mean that we're going to be completely pure in everything we do, or that what we do is impure. What we're doing is we're doing what we feel is needed, or that we feel might help the situation or help relieve the situation that's occurring to us so we can get by. But this is more about getting by. When we manifest things for people and you allow to free those stresses, it stops us from doing any kind of sin or any kind of desire to sin, because now we have the things we require so we can keep the world peaceful. Now what's happened is what they've done to the religious people is they say you can't stop it, so don't worry though, your deity will come or you'll die before the control or the enslavement. Well, let me just put something clear. We have been being controlled, and there is a form of enslavement that's been going on. I've been noticing that they have been upping their ante about it. There's another. And they've been showing signs to me and leaving things or showing things or putting things in perspective towards me. And they've been letting me see it and letting others see it. It's a triangle regime. The triangle, I think, has to deal with the concept of the Zionist. The triangle abduction controls have to deal with the Zionist. So basically, it's you and your spouse and the Godhead, or the Godhead. You got the Holy Ghost, you got Jesus Christ, and then you got the God. But their Jesus is different than the form of what Jesus really was, what Ascended Master is connected. They're distorting the control to make you think they follow the light, when their light is a different regime, a different form of control, a different form of Jesus. Theirs is more of a mark of the beast form of Jesus. And so theirs is the false connected being to controls that you can trust to them, that they get you to by following along with what they say is right, by doing the covenants and the things that you're said to do to keep enslaved to the program of the Zionists. Now, I didn't really understand this or have any belief in this at all until I started looking into the connections and being attacked by them. Someone gave me some little things that they leave behind. They like to leave clues. They like to get you to think. They like to get you to do something. They like to see what you'll think. They like to mess with you. They like to act like you may have hope. They like to say, here's this. Let me give you some more info. Let me put some more things into the view for you. They are a brutal race. And some of them aren't. Some of them, there are always factions within any religious or species, where even with the belief system, they have more of an unconditional belief of the belief system, more than what the belief system has said or is doing. But there are factions who run it that if they don't allow the knowledge of organic vegan food eating, being aware, and not letting you know what's actually in your foods, your GMO foods, your genetically modified organism foods, which is basically anything that you don't know where it comes from, or they don't know. Anything that was genetically, chemically altered has some form of organism added to it. Some of it is human organism, and some of it comes from DNA of humans mixed in with it. You don't believe me? Look into the Illuminati game, the card game in 1995. They bring up the fact that they're going to do this. Also, there's jokes all the time when you're listening to certain celebrities when they go out to eat, or they do those shows where they go out to eat with other celebrities, and they joke, and it's a common thing they mention when they're eating pancakes or eating something, and they're like, this is my human flesh that I'm going to eat. And they bring up little jokes and comments like that. They're like, this is, I'm eating human flesh, or I'm poking at my human flesh, or, I like this, I enjoy this. Or they joke about eating blood or putting blood around their neck. They've done this a lot. Now, you think this is not common. It is. They make a lot of symbols to the triangle and to the eye, They make a lot of connections, and that's connected to Scientology and the Zionist connection. Hollywood is big with Zionists. Now, what's interesting is there are a form of Zionists that come across being whatever they want to be. Any sexual orientation, all of that. Now, that is a choice I think everybody has to choose. I don't think that's a big enough deal. What the big deal is there are factions within the Zionist community. One of the big ones is not allowing equality, and they're about control and man control over women. And then there's a side where there is a feminist movement that they go with, but there is still Zionists connected to it that allow women to control men, or to complain that men are the ones that rule the world. No, it's the wives of those men or their lovers over them that rule the world. The ones that you see them with, that you see them choosing not to hold the hand of the individual at times. You notice that the woman stands up or gets upset at them for not acting or doing certain particular things. So you see some irritations. You see that it's all an act. It's all a controlled situation. It's all a manipulation. It's all a controlled force of perpetual irritation or really sick predatory nature of pushery on both sides. But there are more women in the world, or there's said to be more women in the world. So what does that tell you? Women are now the future. But it talked about that in the scriptures. They pushed it this way to make it seem like there's more women in the world than there are men, so that the men are being killed off to a point. And then what will happen is then they'll multiply with the woman like Zenock did. There will be a time where there's only going to be so many men left, and so women are going to cleave unto men that are left. There will be a war, and there will be disease and famines. And what will happen is there will be a situation where people will die off. Men will die off. Well, they're already doing that. They're already killing off men. And they're doing other things. And so what they're doing is they're causing a manipulation of situation that people are ignoring or not looking at. And so I'm going to go into that in just a moment here. But I felt I should tell you what's going on. There is a time frame, and we're in that time frame. And in the original time frame, it was 2017 to 2022. Now, the 2017 to 2022, there was an agenda, and it was called the Alien Agenda in Project Blue Book. It brings it up. Or I've seen it on the shows about Project Blue Book and the different studies that are said to be done connected to they bring it up in Project Blue Book about certain studies. But then you look into those studies or those investigations and you realize that those investigations never said that there wasn't any extraterrestrial activity or that there wasn't sightings or issues or threat. It actually said there was, and what the species were and what they're connected to. And they changed the Project Blue Book to act like they didn't find anything. But then later on, they knew that they did, and they had different projects that even Project Blue Book talked about that were going on, that were mentioned. That they said they decided it was inconclusive when it was conclusive. What happened is there was humans that were investigating and doing these things that are good. And then there were bad ones that that took over the regime of this world. What happened is the good guys got killed off, most of them, not all of them, and so some infiltrated with the bad guys to stay on their side so that they can maybe give hope to our future humanity situation. But what occurred was very, very scary and very irritating. and very, very concerning. What they found out, or what they did, is they started to infiltrate the human race by taking the form of us. Now, the show Men in Black bring it up all the time, but there was real Men in Black that were more bald, white-looking men that had really particular ways of looking and being. But when they bring up the Men in Black show, they bring up that there's men and women in black, but there's also forms of people in the know that are not human, taking human form. And that some of them are considered part of the Men and Women in Black regime. Factions to work within the system or agreements for the planet. So they're intermingling with society, and they're hidden within caves or within bunker areas where they're doing their parties and where they're doing criminal syndicates and controls, and they're connected with religions, obviously. But people are like, well, religions would never do that. No, they would never do that. The Crusades. What about other forms of wars? What about those religious wars throughout history? Those are all just a cover on top of what was really going on. They were just using that to cover up what the real control was and what the real regime was. See, these beings were around at the time of Christ, and before that. They were the time of Buddha, they were before that. They've been around different factions of species, but there is a timeline. There was agreements, let's say treaties that were made. And what the treaties are different times, different species take over. And they control and decide the fate. Now, it's said that the Palladians, or those of the true Palladian, or those of a higher form Palladian form, or if they are really Palladian, I don't know, but they call themselves that. Many people feel that they're going to take over in 2021 to 2022, that they're coming this year, and that by next year we're going to see them. We're going to know about them. They're going to take over, and they're going to come into this planet because that's the agreement that was made. But some have forgotten those agreements, and they don't want those agreements to happen. But what's going to happen is it's going to take over the evil regime. And I'm not just saying this out of false hope or whatever. I'm saying that that's what many have talked about and brought up. And even the Project Blue Book talked about is there will be a regime that will come over, to bring a peaceful world in 2022. Is when the peaceful world will start more, or when disclosure will start more. But what they're going to try to do is a false alien invasion so that they can stop the form of peace that is meant to happen coming between now and 2021. And so what they've been doing is they've been killing off a lot of people and pushing us and influencing us and threatening us. And what they've done is they've pushed it to a degree where they're coming in 2021 is the original time of Palladians or beings supposedly coming, showing up. Because they knew what was happening to humans. And one of the biggest reasons has to deal with what's being done to the babies, what's being done to humanity. It has to deal with the babies, it has to deal with the food, it has to deal with the babies, it has to do with humanity. Because of the babies, because of what they're trying to do to control babies and to create their own army of human or hybrid or AI humans that they can control, shipped humans, similar to grays being shipped and controlled in test tubes. They're making humans in test tube technology. They're bringing it up that they can't. They're chipping us or trying to make us more chip-like to make our brain function stronger and more apparently abilities for survival. That's what Elon Musk and others have promoted and mentioned about and talked about and told. So that's what's happening is they're controlling the system and they're bringing up these things and they're saying these particular pusheroos or pushing issues towards these factions and realizations. They're actually pushing people or letting people know of these controls, these particular directional paths. Now, here's what's happening. What they're going to do, or what they're trying to do, is they've already succeeded a lot, and it's not really a big deal, is they control everything. They are in charge of everything. But the way to stop the control is to get more of a focus of peace focus and eating the foods to help you stay aware of things that are around us more. Doing more organic oils, doing more focus on foods that are natural. Focusing on what matters to you is a big deal. So what it is you're focusing on a natural form of being. Instead of worrying about what they're doing and why they're doing it, you're focusing on a natural way of being yourself. You are naturally healing because you're drinking and eating natural vibrational foods. Now what happens is it blocks you from the major diseases and vibrations that they try to put through your body. Because when you're taking in the Himalaya salt and Celtic salt, which is naturally reoccurring substances that were made for protection throughout history, you'll get drawn to this type of knowledge for those following their heart that really care. And when you realize it, you're going to want to come to people like me who actually do care. And it's hard to know who to trust. And this is up to you, but I really am someone you can work with. I really am probably one of the only hopes that we have. Others have their own belief of what needs to be done. I'm a healer. Others feel that they're more informers. I'm a healer and an informer. I also feel that I've been connected to a lot of knowledge and awareness. So what is happening is you want to be able to be aware of these things going on is one thing, but which many are. And those listening to this, you're already informed. You already know. What also you're realizing is that life is getting shorter and shorter, which is not supposed to happen. And they can manipulate time, they can manipulate width and length and reality. They can shrink and grow things and get you to see things and not see things, or shrink you or shrink your reality to not see what you saw before, to warp it so that it can't be seen in the same way as what was able to be utilized or tricked it. So what is happening is you can actually create and correct what they're trying to manipulate around you by meditating and focusing and doing things that heighten your senses and abilities. And the way to do that is get 3 other people with you, or another individual at least, and start there. So calling me and getting me and then getting others that are willing to works, but it can start with just me and you if we don't know anybody else that's willing to do this. There are people that don't really think that they have the time or feel like it's that important. I'm telling you right now, the meditation is important. You come together, you pray, you meditate, and you do it. It's that simple. Now, I don't expect some of the people that I consider friends to be willing or able to do that, but it would be very impressive if they do that with me in the way that I feel and know is needed, and that they just put their judgments aside on my idea of meditation, and let's just do it the way that I feel is needed. And then I'll also ask you, because I care, is there some other meditation practice similar to this, it's easy, that you and I can do, that you're okay however I do it with you. But you want to do it a certain way for you, and then still let me do my way with it, that I'm comfortable. But tell me what your way is, and then I'll tell you whether I feel comfortable or able to do that. If you want me to use props or candles or stones and things, I can't guarantee I'll be able to do that. Now, I do have some stones or some round things or some things that I've utilized or have, but I don't really think that that's necessary. I do know that there is other weird things going on where they've manipulated our genes. So there are species among us that are werewolves. No joke. Werewolf type people, or as though they are, that were conditioned to be as though they are. And the moon has something to do with it because they made it happen that way. Also, the gravity control and all of that, changing the alterations to be that way to the individual. Also, they've made so reality, they've stretched or made it a certain pattern or way for the individual. Plus, they've done certain hybridization programs or diseases that they put through you. The next thing that they've done is they've also have other species. So when you've heard of vampires or werewolves or all of that, people say, oh, that's a glitch in the matrix. No, some of those are just projects that were made to create those certain regime controls as super soldiers for the ATTs against the humans. And so there are many of us have been turned into hybrid forms, or were, and maybe that we're not anymore, or clone forms that they can manipulate us to turn into werewolves or things that they can control more. What I've learned, though, is when you eat hybridational foods and you pray and meditate with each other, that's one thing they can't manipulate or mess with because it's connected to a higher form of realization belief. Even if it's just their belief manifesting it through energy connection, it's a power within that goes against the tech they're using at you. When you eat more organic vegan foods or have a belief in that, or something that's healing you and keeping you, and you're not putting medical and chemical stuff as much in your body heals itself slowly to a degree or fast, but it blocks those diseases in the world. What's really cool is what it does is it blocks the coronavirus, it blocks the flu, it blocks all of those things the more you eat or take in those certain particular foods. And people question it and they wonder, well, no, that's not possible. There's no way that that's possible. And then they start to recognize that it is possible, and it's been going on for a while now. And people are like, how is that possible? How is that possible? It's because it's always been possible. They're trying to keep that knowledge from you doing it. They're no longer containing its awareness of it. They know that that was going to happen eventually. But what they're trying to do is get you not to meditate with me and those that will do it for free that have figured out the code. I'm not talking about some cipher or some code of their awareness, but intuition of knowledge of the code without needing to know any ciphering or codes. Now, it doesn't mean that knowing the ciphering and codes isn't good to do. They are if you have the time and patience to do it in your safety or focus to do so. For me, it's more about healing, so then I can do that later when I'm ready to. Because right now, I have to focus on having the food and the focus on the needs first, and manifest so that I can protect myself and get out of Dodge, where I'm at right now. I'm noticing that Utah seems to be a ground zero of control for the Zionist community. The Zionist alien being connections. They're connected to Draco reptilians, Greys, and all of them, but now they're a human faction. I've noticed that they've been sending towards me. I don't even know if the ET faction is even active right now. They may not be in this area, and they may be somewhere else on the planet right now. But ever since 2017, when the new election occurred, or new presidential change happened, I haven't seen any alien interactions. I've seen abusive human interactions within my awareness of sightings and experiences. In fact, I've seen more of a less freedom of healing faction or control, and more of a human, let's mess with him psychologically, abusively, brutally, threatening him, and showing him things by also doing little threats. Things that the individual will need to know or see. Something that they will take a hint from, and then know that it's from them. So what occurred is they play this little game where they threaten you, and they say, well, you never got hurt, right? Because if we wanted you to get hurt, you would have gotten hurt. Well, that's what they sent me towards, or that they put at me. What they did is they actually put something close to my stomach and or rib cage area opening where the pancreas would be, or something, connecting to many different awarenesses of what they've done, and that they are part of it. They're the ones that caused it. Or someone was sending me a message letting me be aware of it in the way that they could, acting like they were abusing me, but they were going a little bit too far in it. But they had to give me the message. And it doesn't mean that the one that sent me the message or did this was a bad person or a good person or a good being or a bad being. They did what they did, and they gave me intel explaining that they were working for this base, or letting me know that this base is happening, and they are telling me that they were the ones that caused the connected pancreatic prostate cancer connection attack. So yeah, they actually showed me and explained to me their particular focused attack. They were acknowledging that they were the ones, or that this base here are the ones that caused it. So let me explain about alien or extraterrestrial, or these program species controls, or these agency programs. They're not good or bad, okay? They're neutral. So at first you may see things that come across as bad, and it irritates you and you react to it, like I did in my previous recording. It was really frustrating, but I also cared about peace, and I wanted to forgive them, and I do. I want to heal and create a better reality. And so what happens is they're around us everywhere we are. They are invisible, they're in pocket dimensions, they have tech, they touch the walls, they put things in certain triangle formats, but it's also possible that those touchy goo things, or things that are put there, are different forms of noticing that they wanted you to see, and they also are different camera viewpoints, because they know you walk in certain areas or go certain ways, and they want to keep an eye or hear what you say on you at all times and all viewpoints. And so it's you have to think in that pattern, even if it's not that way, because you got to realize these individuals are very sophisticated. They have a plan and a programmed system to show you things, to put things across for your awareness, and some of it so that you get caught in this awareness more. I'm gonna explain to you. They also cause your psychological feelings, where they make you do things unconsciously while you're awake and aware, thinking you're not being controlled when you are in some form. or you're doing certain movements, you're bringing up certain things, but it's not necessarily that you shouldn't bring those things up or that you should. It's they control the narratives for you to say certain things or bring up certain things that they would want. But when you follow your own choice of awareness that you know needs to be done and no one's choosing to follow that awareness and do that, it proves that that is what we need to do. So how many of you want to meditate and pray and manifest things with me? I want you to think for a moment. Why is it you don't want to? The reason why is they don't want you to do it. And your desire or busyness or feelings is how they keep you from doing it. That means it's important to do it. Many of you are not realizing how important this is. And when someone like me is willing to do it for free, even if I'm not necessarily a scholar at it, we're all capable of doing it. And it's first doing it with each other in our own particular way of doing it, through our belief in it and okayness in it. First, it's becoming authentic, following your authentic self, not pretending or making up stories to people. If you don't believe that you're making up stories to people and you think that you're following a certain pattern or you're doing a certain thing for your safety, but you want to get certain prestige or get people to buy your products because that's what you think it's all about, and you know you're not being honest as you're doing that, you're doing it out of fear, or you're doing it out of urgency, or you're doing it because it's a marketing ploy and you know it's a marketing ploy, but you're justifying the marketing ploy, then be aware of this, because what is happening is they want you to stay in a perpetual form of guilt, of pride, of greediness, or of a sense of urgency to suppress but help and suppress knowledge and abilities to heal. So they don't want to fully have you heal, but then they want you to act as if you're not able to fully heal and that there are no cures and there are no this and that when there are. And it's very simple. It's natural eating. It's following your heart, being drawn to those things, being drawn to the certain stuff, even if they cost money. If you feel it's needed, follow what you feel is needed. But now that I've realized you can do it for free, and I'm already at that point where I don't need those other programs, because I know how to help you as an individual to get freedom from those programs or freedom from causing your brain to be messed with more. It's about doing the natural oils. It's about following your heart, forgiving people for their choices and sins. Okay? Not worrying about their sins, knowing that they have their reasons for doing whatever they do if you consider it a sin or an immoral act or choice. Don't worry about that. We're all kind of stuck in a perpetual control. And so what they're going to do is no matter what you do, even if you think you're doing good, you're suppressing the ability of healing from those you don't think can, because they are sinning or doing something you consider wrong. Now, the one thing that they do try to do is get you to smoke and drink to keep you docile in those things. They're trying to get you to do foods that keep you chemically controlled. And they're trying to get you to know. Now, if you're going to eat those chemical foods, I don't recommend this while driving or whatever, because that's not respectful and safe. Is if you get a really bad disease or cold and you're eating organic or non-organic foods that aren't organic, that are GMO forms, you may want to take a form of alcohol or a form of apple cider vinegar or something that burns or gets that sickness out of you quicker. I know that alcohol or soup, warm water soup, or warm form of water or electrified water can help cure that issue or get it out of the sickness out of you more. The other thing is If it's sores or lesions that are like coming off of your skin or growing or that are horrible, you're going to want to get oils, organic forms of oils, and zinc. Zinc is another thing that you can decide to do. But zinc and organic forms of oils and possibly aloe vera. Try not to get that alcohol form of aloe vera unless you are already eating GMO food, chemical stuff. It might help, but it's probably not. If it has glycerin and stuff, it's going to cause more. If you're getting lesions, it's your body telling you you have too much chemicals in you, too many alterations and controls, and it's causing you to rash more, and your body is telling you, stop this. It was planned that way. They were hoping to kill off a lot of peacemakers, and the ones that rash out first or have gotten sick faster, those are the ones that could have made a change if they knew what was really going on. And so they killed them fast before the real truth came out about things that are being noticed and been aware. But it doesn't mean that they would have. Some of them, they were doing it so that they were off this planet first, and they kept those that are considered not as peaceful and whatever. So they kept them deceived. But now many of them know things in the spirit realm or in the next realm of awareness, and they know what they did was wrong or what they need to do now or what we need to do now. So I'm letting you know that don't worry about what has happened or what has been chosen. This is your time and your purpose to take a task of your choice. You now have a choice to be a better being through meditation and manifesting that only takes as long as you have belief in the other people doing it with you, have belief in it. And it's not necessarily meditation, it's just focusing on a visual form of thought with each other, talking about your reality has already happened, and then saying and focusing on one form of word phrases or phrases that are usually a sentence or something that makes you agree that it's happening already or it's already happened, form a manifestation creation. So let's say you want to heal pain. Just tell yourself, heal, 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 and focus on the spot, an area where you need healing. And try not to make it so unbroad. Make it in that whole area. If you don't know where it is because you're not seeing the person where it is, let's say the person says it's their right side area, the rib cage area, maybe down below or at the waist or across that whole side there's a connection, or the lower back right side or something like that. You focus on a big circumference of that right back side area, and you follow that whole area and anything that it may be connected to, even if you don't know what it would be. You don't need to define where it's connected to or where the pain is originated from. Just focus on where that pain is, and then know that maybe it's connected to the middle of the back. And as you heal that individual says, okay, yeah, now that's working, I feel it. And now I'm feeling pressure in the middle of the back or other areas while we're healing that. Now I'm feeling this other stuff connected to it. It's all connected to one spot or one area or multiple, and you're feeling the connections. You're noticing that as that spot heals, your feet and your legs and your head and your arms and your shoulder and other things are healing too, because they were connected to those nerves of that area. And so now it's not always that area that's the problem, it's those other places with it. It's a combination of all of it. It's not just one area of pain, it's a nerve connection. You're rebuilding the nerves, you're unpinching them, you're healing them, you're correcting the bone system, you're correcting all the things that were put out of place, and you're putting it in the way that their body requires it in and shapes it for. for the full safety and healing of their self. Now, another form of control, or another form of this, is then focusing on your desired life, what you want, what you're hoping for, what you're dreaming about. So focusing on the idea of having your dream house, having your car, having your life be the particular way you want it to be, focusing on its reality, basically bending and shaping time and form into the form that you desire it to be. They already do this in the HET world, the humanoid extraterrestrials. They do it with tech, but some of them are doing it with meditation focus. And so they're more neutrals, but they're aware of the power. They're aware of how to do this and that it can be done. Some of them are. Not all of them are, but most of them are. And so some of them are just following a regime that they feel they should for now, because those are the ones that have the power and are open to using the power. So you have the power too. We all have the power. It's up to you to claim it. And so when you claim that power and you start to meditate, regardless whether you think you're a warrior or not, if you just call me or talk to me and just do meditation with me, it will be great. If you email me or whatever. So if you find a way to call me that's free and you're in the States, or you're able to contact me somehow and talk to me and communicate with me, you can actually get a hold of me and we can do it over the phone. We also can try doing it in email, or you can ask me an email, could you do this video specifically for me? And then tell me whether you want me to say your name or not. Tell me whether you want me to say a certain person's name in a video. So you don't have to do the meditation with me. You can send me an email at durbinsamuel@gmail.com, or you can comment on my YouTube page, on my Twitter page, or comment to me, message me, or tell me, or comment on something I comment on and say, hi, my name is this, or you can just say, hi, I wanted to ask you, Sam, be specific. I gotta know that you're talking to me and not just commenting generically. You need to tell me specifically and say, Sam, do this video for me for healing. Do this video for me for healing, and in the way that you feel will work, that you feel is important to you. But be genuine and belief heart with it, and forgive any lack that you or I may have, but I'm going to do my best not to. And even if you feel like I am, don't feel like I am, because I really am doing this from the heart. So what you can do is just say that I'm just doing it. Forgive any judgments of me or any past situations you hear about me, or if you get any calls from someone trying to tell you not to talk to me or not to be aware or warning about me, that's the HET program, trying to get others to put disinformation about me to stop my awareness of free healing, and that we all can do, that the ancient texts even say we can. So get into the belief that you can, even if you doubt it. I doubted it at first too, and then I started doing my own form of healing. Then I realized that if we have more people doing it together, it's more powerful, it's more fulfilling, it's more protective. So I'm bringing this up right now because I feel like I needed to kind of switch gears a little bit and go towards that new form of healing idea, more form of focus idea of healing, because it needed to be said. Now, that being said, if you want me to do a specific form of healing for you or for anyone, you need to specifically tell me an email, or you need to message me or tell me or comment on one of my videos about it. And then hopefully I get the alert system about it and I'll look at it. But what you want to do is you want to also think and pray and have belief that I will see it, that I'll be drawn to this comment and this message, and doing it without trying to put scam across it. but also meditate and protect yourself as you're reaching out to me. And don't be worried if other forms try to reach back at you. When we come together, the sooner we do, the sooner we all meditate together and pray in a thought process. I'm not talking about a religion. I'm talking about a heartfelt humanity and being form of meditation, where it's you're in the being and it's very simple. You're just saying it's done. You're doing it together, unconditionally, fully formed, and it's already happened. There are many people in other countries that would do the same kind of thing. They just do it really quick and they're done. This is more of an interactive one, where you tell me specifically how you want it to be said, and if I don't say it perfectly, forgive me for it. I'm going to say it in the way that I feel drawn to say it in. But you tell me some of the things you want me to try to say or bring up. If you think certain words or certain phrases need to be said for that form of energy you're hoping for them, then do that. But why I'm doing it, instead of doubting that I won't do it correctly or that I think that I won't do it correctly, do your best to think the best of me and you and the individual it's for. And why it's helping, if it's for you or another individual, it's helping you also for choosing to help the individual. So your focus is what you tell me to focus on and do. And then I'll do it in the way that I can do it in and feel comfortable doing so. Now, what I would prefer is as we do this for this individual, we're also doing this for me. Now, this is free. It's not silly at all. And it's a form of doing that. Now, if no one reaches out to me or chooses to or can't reach out to me, I'll do my own form of video meditation focus for this. Okay? So let's get into this. So today is Wednesday, and I told people that this would be the day of change and direction. So right now, we're on chapter 6, and it's on page 104 in my book of Alien Perception of Possible Truth. Now, I've noticed that I've been noticing that I've been putting this on my, I've been putting the pages down on some certain things that I have, and somehow the pages are getting pink on them, some pink stain. But I don't know any pink stain that is, or liquidy pink stain that would make this book pink stain. So something is weird going on. But I needed to bring that up. I'm noticing that somehow there's some form of pink stain that's happening as I put this on top of something that there's no way that it would put a pink stain. So I've noticed that for some reason, some form of pink energy or watery substance has been in my home on something that's not even pink, it's black, and it's very fuzzy. And then shoes that don't have any pink or watery pinkness to them. So something is making it pink, even though I don't know how. That's something that's throwing me off right now. I'm a little confused why that's the case or what that means. But pink is a good energy, because even if it's something that someone's trying to do chemically, it's an energy of pinkness, of romance and heartfelt healing. I love Himalaya salt because it's a pink energy of healing and love, and it brings romance in your life or love protection. So that's why Himalaya salt is so cool, because it's a pink salt form with white and different connections. Then you got the Celtic salt that's a white grayish form. The raw forms is usually really the best. But it's pretty impressive. So let us get this back into focus alignment. So it's the morning right now, so I wanted to kind of give a little bit of a heads up, and I know that that was a long intro to this chapter, an hour long. I usually do that lately because I need to get the right focus of what we're doing before we go into the chapter. Ever since I had that attack the other day. And so when I consider that an attack, even though it wasn't necessarily an attack, it was just them sending a message. So here we go. Chapter 6. Timelines, energy understanding, Mandela effects, alien time travel, as well as dimensions, universe, and theories of alien and planet understanding, such as every planet has an inner planet, civilization, and possible moons at one time or another. I don't know if I agree or disagree with that anymore. Back then I heard those ideas and they seemed more close to the belief system I had back then. Now I just don't know. I don't see us really flat earth necessarily, but I don't see it as not a dome either. There's just too many weird connections. Two shows that I would recommend to look into would look into Falling Skies about alien information. That gives a lot of information. One of my favorite seasonal shows that give a ton of things that they have and can do. They can do a lot more than that show even shows. But they talk about how they've altered the species and taken over other species. And so it kind of gives intel that they are enslaving races and turning them into their race. Manipulating their genes to make them be their species. Then they're making hybrids or controls through prophecies and belief systems, but taking over fifth-dimensional beings or beings that are really powerful that can provide amazing things for people freely. Then you got the next being, which is number recognized as similar to the Greys or similar to what I call the Obo beings, but those are just probably humanoid humans hybrids is what those forms are, acting like they're from other planets and have tech, but they have tech to help heal and create to free people from things, but they have better tech than what these tech machines show in that show. So I'm going to give you some really impressive awareness. Machines are great for healing fast, but you can also heal naturally. You don't necessarily need the machines. So it's good to use both. It's good to learn how to do the meditation and energy practices. And then if you have access to the machines for natural healing, utilize that too. But you don't need to put implants in you. It's about taking them out of you. It's about healing them naturally or skin grafting or whatever, naturally and powerfully, where it just heals itself. Your brain heals it. Your energy heals it. Other people's energy with your energy heals it from the inside out without having to put anything in. But things being in can shape into their way of choices and decisions. So anyway, Christ healing, things like that. Water into wine, walking on water, causing the storm, asking it to stop. You can communicate with it and tell it. But the earth is woken up more, and I know that it's awakening and telling me and letting me be aware of things. And people are trying to control it or give me messages about it. So they're trying to show that they are Zionist-connected people or regime that I know is coming across as if they're religious or trying to let me know it's them. Now, I don't know if these messages are just to throw me off on what they really are, who they really are, or just trying to show me their power or control or what. But it's them communicating in their way of communication and why they're doing it. Trying to see how I'll respond to it and how I'll focus on it, or letting me know why they're doing it to me, or the focus or the reasoning behind it. And so I don't know their reasoning, and they may be doing it because of certain symbols that they see that I have or have been given that I don't understand. And so their communication skills or attacks are based on those observations and judgments. See, what they do is they just judge you straight off based on things that you have in your life and actions that you will make. And so they do it now to you for those future actions. So it's like pre-crime. They're pre-criming you. They're attacking you for those future events that you would have been or would go towards or are going to because of their actions of what they've been doing or allowing to happen or not stopping when they know they can stop it. So it's kind of them causing it to happen, but then blaming it on you doing it. But it's part of them doing it, but they don't blame themselves for the doing or the cause or the society system. They want you to comply to the system. And they want to blame you for what you're not complying to and for you causing these things. It's really kind of messed up. So the best way to correct this, instead of going, yep, yeah, that's what they're doing, that's how they're doing, yeah, it's scary, and getting all emotional attached to the frustration about it, all we really need to do is come together and meditate. Pray. Now, I'm going to read this information because all of this information is just to tell you why it's so serious and important to meditate. That's why I'm reading the whole book. The whole book brings up things that are going on that some people want to focus on more. But what is interesting is once you understand all the things that are going on and that it's deeper than what I even bring up, and once you realize that it's even scarier than this, then you know how important it is to meditate and to pray and to manifest things with me and to heal me and get me out of here and get you out of here to where I can live in a different state or a place where I feel safer, that's freer. But then I have to learn how to get a license in that area or whatever. I prefer to change Utah where I'm at and maybe or get into a state where they don't judge you on the test of driving as much as they would in Utah or other places. They're free to let me drive or be in the way that I am, rather than all the games of driving. But what I'm doing is I'm actually a pretty safe driver. I have disability requirements that make me safe, and I've learned from mistakes in the past a long time ago of what not to allow to affect my focus, like backseat drivers or my mother telling me what to do and how to drive or whatever, telling me when to stop and when not. All of those mistakes and awarenesses and learnings from all those individuals or trickeries taught me how to be safer and aware of those things. But I still want to manifest things so I have the funds to survive within this planet area and other places I choose to, maybe Colorado, maybe places where I feel about the same kind of atmosphere, or maybe a more cooler atmosphere for the metal that's in my body, that's not too cold or too hot for the metal in my body, or a way to get the metal out after healing my bone system or manifesting it into being healed and then changed, like a Christ ability. But until that, I'm focused on what I'm being dealt with. So here we go. So 6 is chapter 6 is on 104. So let me start reading about this, and I'll give some commentary about this chapter. It's not very long, but let's do this. In our lives, that's actually a good statement. In our lives, we feel and think that it's possible that time travel shaped our lives, that we used to have another life, or we have possible other selves or timelines that we could have chosen to be part of. We sometimes realize that if I just chose to do this or that differently, I would have done better. Many of us also feel and think it's possible there are timelines where other selves did do that. Not all of us are in the earth we want to be part of. Some of us feel and think we are possibly from another place or another time, almost as if we got stolen from our actual world or time or dimension. Then there are time travelers that have said to have come here and tell us amazing and not so good things about our future. So we wonder, are they telling the truth? Is that what will happen? And sometimes does something does start happening, so we fear. I always say, don't fear, steer, because steering helps us to dodge those problems or go around them and protect us and those around us and those we choose to think about to be safe or navigate through it or correct it or heal it. Because you can heal it. You don't have to avoid it or steer around it. You can heal it as you're going by it or around it or circling it or circling back to it or whatever. If you ignore something of abuse that's happening to someone where you could do something or you know that you might be able to, forgive yourself for what you did then. Once you know what you can do or what you may have been able to do what you can now. See, the power of them is they want us to think that we're not powerful enough or not capable enough or unable to do it, or there's no particular way to do it in, when we always can do a more faster and quicker way through our thoughts, feelings, and emotions as one has been confirmed. And talking to water and plants in good ways and things cause it to flourish over time. The more you believe in that you're telling it, the more it flourishes and faster, the more it believes with you or has belief with you in it or hears it and agrees, the more it will do the same. That's the way this works. So let's go into this a little more. This is where our emotions or awareness and abilities are so important. More than what we're told is important, but it is. So let's go into this. So on page 105, let's start with our energy is powerful, kind of close to the top there, that paragraph. Our energy is powerful. We can protect this and help protect our lives and our life. As alien species and inner Earth people have chosen to do for our future and for our present also, in the way that they think should be done for any of them that have done in all timelines or whatever. If there was none in this timeline or didn't exist, whatever form of reality we're in, we can create the reality or open up it to this reality with them, the ones that are good. But when you open up that, it can also open up other forms of openings for the others too, the balance. So just be aware of what you're doing and focusing on. So just focus on peace, and then any peaceful beings will show up rather than the bad beings. Any bad beings that show up will be ones that cause peace to happen, even if it was unintentionally for them to have that happen. And then they become peaceful and healed from it, or get pushed back into their reality once they realize what they've done and they don't want to be a part of it anymore. But they might be brought back in, and we just need to appreciate their choices of love and heal them, or to get them to the realm they want to be part of. Because even bad individuals can feel that their vibration is going the wrong direction of vibration of their reality. So they will feel enslaved into our peaceful reality, and they don't want to be part of that. So we want to help them get back to their place, or focus as though they're not being affected by us choosing to. But some of them will enjoy it and be free from it and be pushed into their place when they're ready. I'm not going to dictate what is good for them and what isn't. They decide what matters to them. But it doesn't mean that we comply or compromise our peaceful reality for them. We're focusing on what matters for our individual required healing and needs and direction of becoming. So we have a choice. We can be afraid of things or choose to react and be there for those around us, as well as be aware of what possibly could be. It can be very deep thought and powerful to know. At the same time, not all of us need to be aware or choose to be aware of these things, since most of us just want our desired timeline to be real. So first, let's start off by learning what I have learned of possible timelines experience I felt I was part of or even just recognized. Now, I did want to mention, now I'm all about holistic as we can go. Now, does that mean the clothes that I have and things I don't appreciate them? I go for clothes that I feel are air feeling, and some of them were chemically made. I think we need to get more holistic made stuff, but we can make free energy creational clothes that don't burn, don't cause problem, and that give us sufficient energy protection and safety, like a second skin or protection healing. And those are specialized energy suits that were energy made, that are free energy made and less chemical. And they're just manifested and created in a form of creation. Some think it's nanotech, but there's other forms of it that can be created by energy that are more fulfilling for your body system, to protect you even more. It's pretty impressive. So here we go. So timelines and time travel are very different. Okay, so here we go. So we have a choice. We can be afraid. So our energy is powerful. We can protect this, help protect our lives, alien species, Earth people have chosen to do for our future and for our present. We have a choice. We can be afraid of things or choose to react and be there for those around us, as well as be aware of what possibly could be. It can be very deep thought and powerful to know. At the same time, not all of us need to be aware or choose to be aware of these things, since most of us just want our desired timeline to be real. So first, let's start off by learning what I have learned of possible time travel experience I felt I was a part of or even just recognized. And I recognized a lot of this. So timelines and time travel are very different. Timelines are, well, and they're the same. It's timelines are connected to time travel because the connections are similar. Sometimes the time travelers will go back or forward in time and end up in a different future and path than their actual timeline they were from. It may be similar and it may not be. Either way, messing with time only changes and makes a new timeline either way. You may learn things that would help you and may not help you. It's this understanding of probabilities that could or may happen depending on the choice made by individuals. When you can't control the choice of someone, it changes and causes the timeline to change. There are possible beings that are said came from the future. So below are some stories that I have researched and gone through with all of this. Yeah, so I'm going to go into this. These are stories that I felt I went through, and I'm going to give you a little bit more stories on top of that, okay? So these stories are connected to awarenesses and choices that have been made that I know have occurred. So here are the stories. First, due to my experience, I started looking into time travel due to the situation of looking up NASA and looking up info on Area 51 and other bases, and learned they had beings that lived at Area 51 and other aliens beings being there also. So one of the ideas is the gray aliens, which some call chupacabra, or other in many names. And there are different variations of species similar looking to the grays that look devilish or demony, with horns or whatever forms, where the devil and demon looking comes from depiction. Well, you can go search yourself on this, but there are two videos. One of them was a video about the alien mentioning they are future us. They are us or beings we turn into or become like. They have an intellect where they time travel to get something that was lost. Many people come back here to get what was lost. They sometimes come for a person or knowledge, info, and energy someone has, or spirit, or tech that translates, or something. They mention how we killed ourselves over religion and that they don't believe in religion much in the way we do. The aliens I'm speaking of are the Greys, or whoever the Area 51 worked with. So the Greys, or whoever they were, do believe in connections. And that list isn't the life that it is. But they have created life now in the future. I really still don't understand their meaning and being of understanding. I have more focus on energy connection through both spiritual and tech. I think both help complement each other as we use it to help it grows like the universe does. So we want to find a way to recognize this and realize how to change what is said. Well, think this way. We are all important. It's possible because of our love of creation and our belief in being more than what we are. Focus on what you physically and mentally want to be and spiritually want to be. So as we do this, we end up not being affected by time travel as much as those who choose to fear. So I choose to believe. My energy of belief helps me and those I want to help. And since that's everyone, they come in contact with me or reads my words, and those you love, and even futuristic aliens, I don't worry about timelines. I don't fear or get scared, even if I have. I don't fear, I cheer that now. I know something and I can help prepare others and myself for creation and protection. Don't be afraid, be brave. Now, at the time, I was being controlled and being affected by my emotions and feelings and wanting acceptance from family and friends and trying to influence, thinking that they would or would come around or at least humor my needs and let me do what I feel is right. And maybe they'll pray, maybe they'll help manifest in their way of choosing. Many of them gave up on it and chose not to. But I forgive them for that, and it's fine. But I am following and being part of people that will do that with me. Because if they're not going to do it, someone has to, because it is serious. But I'm not going to worry about the seriousness. I'm just going to be aware of it and know how important it is. Plus, if they came to me and asked me to meditate and pray with them, in my way of prayer focus, as long as I'm not signing or agreeing to program controls, I will do so for my safety of not making sure that we're manifesting the way that I know can be, and them trusting it. And if they unconsciously choose to or humor it or allow it without judgment, it will be helpful for them. And it will help them, but I'm not going to do it in their way of belief of religion or do it in them getting back in my life and them faking it so that they're in my life to infiltrate or mess with me again, even if they don't know that that's what was happening. Plus, I'm not going to say that they were doing it or meaning to. If they really care about me, they wouldn't have gotten away and they would be calling me right now and talking to me and working with me unconditionally. Not trying to get me back in their religion or think that talking to me and being in their life will get me back in, but recognizing my heart and having faith in me in the good, that I'll get to wherever I'm meant to go, even if it is into the belief that they feel is the best. Whatever is the best is what we'll all get into that are focusing on that for each other. And so if they do that for me and I do that for them, we're going to get into the right place for our individual choice of happiness, of choice that's unconditional for each other, and that's not slavery or control or better than the other. We're going to equally have the realm we want, and we can adapt and get into a new realm if desired, more than in the way that they're looking at it in their limited way of choice of belief system. I keep the belief system of all possible of a peaceful form of utopia focus rather than worrying about what's been going on. But I do put contingencies for my safety and protection. So here we go. It's all about being there to help one another and promoting growth, because if it weren't for pesticides, we'd still be in the woods making fire and bonking each other on the head with a stick or other things. Some will look at that in a sexual manner, but I didn't mean it in that way. But it is kind of interesting to see that form of thought. So they're us, or beings we turn into or become like. They have an intellect where they time travel to get something that was lost. Many people come back here to get what was lost. They sometimes come for a person or a knowledge, info, and energy someone has, or spirit or tech that translates, or something they mentioned, how we killed ourselves over religion, and that they don't believe in religion much in the way we do. The aliens I'm speaking of are the Greys, or whoever the Area 51 worked with. So the Greys, or whoever they were, do believe in connection, and the life is the life that it is. But they have created life now in the future. I really still don't understand their meaning, a being of understanding, other than possible AI futuristic of life and what they think life will be. And they push that and promote that a lot in movies and shows. Understanding I have more focus on energy connection through both spiritual and tech. I think both help complement each other as we use it to help it grow like the universe does. So we want to find a way to recognize this and realize how to change what is said. Well, think this way. We are all important. It's possible because of our love of creation and our belief in being more than what we are. Focus on what you physically and mentally want to be and spiritually want to be. So as we do this, we end up not being affected by time travel as much as those who choose to fear. So I choose to believe. My energy of belief helps me and those I want to help. And since that's everyone that come in contact with me and reads my words, and those you love, and even the futuristic aliens, I don't worry about timelines. I don't fear or get scared. I don't fear, I cheer that now I know something, and I can help prepare others and myself for creation and protection. Don't be afraid, be brave. So yeah, I kind of bring that up. So here we go. It's all about being there to help one another and promoting growth. Because if it weren't for past societies, we'd still be in the woods making fire and bonking each other on the head with a stick or other thing. That's where we start. So be grateful what we have learned and what other beings will learn from us. Also, I trust that I will keep going and living in the type of society I want, even if the world turns on itself. I choose to think differently and promote the good and do my best to hope for the good above the bad. It doesn't mean that I ignore the bad being there. I know that it's happening. I know the solution, and many are ignoring the solution because they think that that's not a solution, but no one's trying it. Why are you not trying it? Why are you being conditioned not to? Think about that. Why is it that they've attacked me and came at me? It's because I'm bringing up the free energy of healing and creating reality. Whatever realm I've been in, I've taught this. But I'm more aware about it now and more open to it, and I explained it even better, I've noticed, in this book than I remember writing it in at times. There's some passages and chapters that don't really explain it well enough, but most of it has been explained. what to do, but I brought it up a little more. But there are passages that hint to what I know now that bring it up fully in a way, and I've emphasized those parts in these recordings that I've done, as you can tell. So time travel is a fun subject. At the same time, my thoughts on it are let's not mess with it, even if it's messed with us. We all can still spiritually gain abilities in tech, but fix the rips in space and time from time travel rips, such as Mandela effect. I was a little afraid of those things because I was seeing it happen all over the place, and people were freaking out and bringing it up on YouTube and all sorts of stuff. And I was freaking out because of my spiritual belief and worry, and that's what we were taught and conditioned in the religion, is to fear the world getting wickeder and wickeder and scarier and scarier. But now I've stopped looking at it that way, and I've started looking at it with a new perspective. So the world is wicked because people want it to be wicked. They've thought of it as wicked, and so it's become wicked. We don't need to see it as wicked because there's a lot of good within this world. We just need to cultivate and create that and free each other through manifesting and healing the rifts and getting the beings that are feeling our emotions stronger to go along the good emotions so that they heal from the inside of them to their form, so they don't have to do what they think we want for this world. Some of the HETs are just doing what we want, what they think we want, because they're AI controlled and they're just following what they hear us saying in their language or communication of ciphers and whatever, bringing up stuff. So we just need to learn the code, is what people say. But what we really need to do is just follow our hearts, feel the feelings and thoughts, and get them to hear it too, and meditate with one another for them. And when more people come together to do that, they can't mess with that group. Instead, they comply with that group. They're very easily able to help us when they know that they have no control over us, or over that group at least. And then it helps all those around us. They noticed and done studies that when we meditate in a room, that our neighbors and other people in the next rooms get affected by our thoughts, feelings, and meditation focuses. Deepak Chopra and Greg Braden brought this up to a whole group of 1,000 or more people doing this process, and Deepak Chopra even mentioned that they've done studies, and the ancient texts even talk about this happening, that when people, a big group of people, or even just 3 or 4 people do something, it creates a reality for those 4 people. But what also happens is when a bunch of people pray and meditate, everybody's serotonin level goes up, but then it affects the whole world's serotonin levels and species. They change, they become good instead of bad. Or they get influenced and feel happy, and so they start doing happier things and happier focuses, rather than worrying and freaking out over things. We start to correct, and we start being honest, and we start bringing out free cures and free awarenesses. They start to acknowledge that they exist and that they've been here. It's a very powerful way of awareness that has always been going on, and always has been, and always shall be, and is meant to be. So there you go. So time travel is a fun subject, but at the same time, my thoughts on it are, let's not mess with it, even if it's messed with us. We all can still spiritually gain abilities and teach that fix the rips in space and time. And from time travel rips, such as Mandela effects, many people recognize changes in coins and action figures, that they all of a sudden look differently from what they used to, and all of a sudden they do. People recognize deja vu. Well, that's because you did meet each other. That's because something changed what was, and because you were connected to this moment before, and it's possible it's better than the moment you felt, or it was a dream shown, and because your reaction to the dream caused it to change, because it was a communication to the universe and aliens, those who were wondering to make sure what you want happens the way you desire it, or focus on it, or think of it as. So that's how I chose to think. So if you think negatively, as if I I do, then that is what gets drawn and made for us, or for your perception of me. I get that emotion around you, but it doesn't mean that that's who I am or what I am. It's just your perception of choice of feeling that that's what I will be for you. But you don't want that, because you do that to me, it affects you and those you love to do the same in ways you don't want. So it's better to not fear it and be aware of it and just focus on peace and forgive lack of that, of each other and awareness of each other. So let's move on. So we sometimes can get aggravated with feelings or get disgusted with nightmares and waking up being glad they're not real. What I've noticed is happening is your brain and thought and alien interaction and those who help understand what we want and provide it universe or things like us connected and capable or wanting to help for whatever reason need to see and recognize what it is we are wanting, and they ask and do it within the thoughts of our minds. Sometimes for tests and sometimes not, for most of the times are for understanding and helping. So I let them know over and over what I want fully, and it comes into being more and more. And now that I've finished this book fully, they know I know will provide all I asked for, and it will be better than any miracle I've ever seen. And that's how I think. When I think of a time travel alien or just time travel that know this idea. So time travel, they're amazing. They have great tech, and we want that tech for ourselves, or just to have a time that is better. So I say let's trust and believe or have belief, and we will achieve a better life. Now, I know for some reason they keep me going and they keep me to achieve all my dreams because I care about all beings. So I may not know all the times that's what's next. I keep dreaming and doing my very best every moment of life to believe in me and all those around me all the time, so that my future is now. So time travel has many great insights. One thing that many of them I've researched talk about is gravity, time travel, and water time travel. And all of this is interesting. It's pressure and feeling and growth and energy through these energies of life. Water is fuel, it's power, and it's living. It's life. It's memory. Frozen 2 brings that up, and I brought that up before in the other recordings. But yeah, Frozen 2 Disney show brings up water is memory. They bring up the idea of doing the next right thing. It's pretty powerful, and elements, and it's really cool. So anything living is power, and water is what everything grows from. So if you're living or in life or memory, focus of what it was, focus on the good forms of connections that it was connected to, and that's what will flourish in you after you drink the water and talk and think of the water around you. So it also is great fuel for traveling through space-time and dimensional rifts. It's good for teleporting and for connecting others' minds with yours and helping to provide healing through this. Since we all connect with water in some way or some kind of liquid similar to water. Water nurtures it, grows things. It then needs light or energy to help it work and open power to flow and connect to things or take things out through EMP biological tech. So all liquids and grown can provide necessary needs for all of us. So water is good for anything. Now next is providing things to change from one liquid to another. We can do that with tech, and we can do that with belief spiritual energy too. Spiritual energy is better than tech energy. The reason why is we are the ones that created tech, so it's just a second generation power. And it can grow to be connected with spiritual growth and evolve. So I care for both tech and for spiritual energy also. You can balance it out, until you learn how to do it with your full spiritual being. Don't let the tech overwhelm your ability to utilize your spiritual power, but use the tech with your spiritual power. And then once you know how it works fully and are capable of doing the spiritual power without needing tech to do it with, it will be amazing. Now, time travel aliens or aliens in general have tech. Some seem futuristic, but not all are. They're ahead of the tech we see and use every day. We also have this tech and know about it. It's just not all of us open our eyes to see this due to choice. I have believed that regardless of past knowledge, we now know, for me, putting this out there was for that knowledge to be known. So yeah, this is where I get more intuitive about things. Many people have said that the government and NASA knew about this and are hiding this from us. Well, it's because they want to learn to use it right and provide it for all of us, is what we would think and feel. When it's perfected, some, yes, took it for themselves and chose to hide it out of worry and distrust of us not handling it, or them losing their control over us. At the same time, there are many that sneaked it into our lives or our life under the noses of those who feared or doubted or were greedy. Regardless, now we know these things. Now we have these things, and now we have unlimited resources through belief, and those things that are there show up now. So we have free energy in the world. We just need to let it be known and put it out there and get it to be free for people to see and witness it, and then to have it be given as free energy. I have been shown the future. Others have been told possible futures. I know for a fact it's possible that by 2030 that many things could happen. Regardless what the aliens showed me of the future, I saw my own desired future, and I saw scary drone-like people praising me, and they looked homeless. So basically they looked like doped up people, where they're just kind of like stoned but not stoned. It's like drugged by their food or the 5G or more than 5G controlled program systems. They didn't look like robots or android individuals, but they probably were being controlled, but they were kind of docile to everything, but they know things were bad, that they were happy even though that they were poverty. They were poverty people. They're wearing very tattered clothes or clothes that are humans or refugee type humanoid individuals. They looked human. I don't know if all of them were. Maybe there's hybrid races, but they seemed like they were docile and controlled, but some of them were refugee freed people from the controlled system. But most people were up in the skies. And I noticed the regime that took over were Nazi connected. Or those that agree with Nazi type ideas throughout history. People say the Germans are what control the world, but it's more of a connection to England, Russian. It's all the world leaders have agreed to a certain type of control government with the HETs that are similar to Nazi Germany type of controls, but not as apparent and not necessarily as abusive, but similar kind of testing, just more hidden than more aware. When the Nazis were doing things, it was more leaked out to what they were doing. Well, similar things are still happening, but we're not being shown it as much. We are, but it's happening in America too, secretly to people. And people are ignoring it or dumbing down themselves to it. But it's going to get to the point where people finally know it's happening, but they just kind of have dealt with so much pain, abuse, that they just kind of deal with whoever is there for them, and they take any freedom of care and appreciation that's there. But what happened is they just adapt around whatever system is provided for them. Well, what happens is I become a resistant leader in control and take over the land. And then there are bases up in the sky hover bases and tech that they have, but I have beings connected to tech like that too, where I'm a part of a resistance of some kind of golden, spiritual, higher self-connected, peaceful being, like a celestial form of belief is what I thought it was back when I wrote this, but it's more of just beings that care about peace and know, and have chosen me and others that are throughout the globe and will be at that time as well, that want to, those that want peace and freedom will get the peace and freedom. Those that want to control and enslave will be part of that. But by 2030, there will be a form of new change that will happen, and a resistance will start. And by 2031, that resistance will be taken over by good people. Just like the Bibles and scriptures and ancient tech have mentioned is meant to happen. But we can make this happen sooner. We don't have to wait until then. Waiting till then is dangerous because many of you will be dead if you wait that long. And you may think I'm nuts for saying it, but I don't know who's going to be dead and who isn't. But if we ignore it and we don't meditate and focus on peace now, we're going to be overly run by these controlled Zionist, Nazi Germany, apologetic, appreciative individuals of that regime type of style. Zionists are following a lot of similar forms of control that Nazi Germany was doing, and that type of form of government. Just different, less apparent. And then there's two sides. There's one that allows freedom of people to be what they want, and then there's where you can have more freedoms for all people's sexual orientations. And then there's telling people what sexual orientation is wrong. Let people decide what they want, but be aware of what is, aware of how to procreate for the species, and learn more of it, and just do high vibrational things, and peace is what I'm focused on. Be aware of high form of life being, but yeah, be careful of the brutal tactics of the Zionist controlled societies. Scientology is Zionist. It's connected to Zionists. So is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So is Christian churches that aren't aware of the agnostic teachings, and even those that are and know, then they're trying to spin it their own way or adapt to it, such as what the Mormon Church does. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which is not the Church of Jesus Christ in the way that Ascended Master really is. And it's very much about equality and becoming together as one rather than against one another. So here we go. Bring up some other stuff here. Okay, limited resources through belief, and those things that are there show up now. I have been shown the future. Others have been told possible futures also. I know for a fact it's possible that by 2030 that many things could happen. Regardless of what aliens showed me of the future, I saw saw my own desired future, and I saw scary drone-like people praising me, and they looked homeless as well. So I saw scary and good depictions of this future. But it seems like that is where we're going towards. That is the future they're creating, even if I'm not going to be in it. I probably will be in it still. I was told I would, and I'm meant to. And what will happen is they're going to control the system, and they're going to start doing it between now and 2022. And they're already starting doing it now, but they're going to have a fake alien invasion, and it's going to be around 2022 or now. And 8 years into the future, from when this fake alien invasion happens, I'm going to be in 2030, so it was probably going to be 2022, but it might have changed, and it might happen sooner as well. But what will occur is whatever alteration they do or have chosen, the timeline of the agenda was 2017 to 2022. And aliens don't usually alter their focus on the timeline of alien agenda. They stay with it because they know the timeline agreement is meant to. Some are trying to delay it. The humans want to delay it, but it's always going to be between now and 2022. That's why right now they're doing the coronavirus and all this stuff happening, because they know between now and 2021, beings are coming. They were promising to come by 2021. So there are good beings coming by 2021. And then 2022 will be disclosure of everything once we've seen them. We'll know them so much, and then disclosure will come about them and other stuff. Now, that disclosure may be the disclosure that they want us to have belief in. That's the fake alien invasion disclosure. So that could be happening this year, between now and then, but they're trying to put together certain things right now between now and April. That's why meditating with me right now is so crucial before March, is preferably, but most of you are going to hear these recordings after February. So it's going to be mostly March time that things are going to change and go towards things. And I'm just letting you be aware of it. This is something you need to know, and we need to plan for. Okay, so I have been shown the future. Others have been told possible futures. I know for a fact it's possible that by 2030 that these things will happen. So I realize that time, that being brought back from whatever I got abducted to in that dream or future dream, being shown, I was told that I have money and that I am totally now able to protect others. They put me into a shelter that had future tech, but then it changed because I wanted something different. So what I wanted became, I realized that I became one of the richest people due to this belief of thought, that I am able to shape the world to help make it better and free the enslaved, if any, and I am protected by good spiritual people and spiritual aliens who realize I really care and believe in a future of all. Those that want to meditate and do that with me or do their own form, they're going to be connected to being rich with me. They're going to be part of the resistance. And it's going to be a spiritual, unconditional resistance of peace, focus, not to fight, not to kill, not to harm. We're going to be protected by a powerful barrier of teaching and learning and meditating and creating and freeing people that want to be freed by giving them knowledge of what to eat and what's better, and because we already know. So we're going to be taken and protected by beings that help us with that protection. So here we go. I have felt I possibly also got put through on an empty bus and that I got sent through a timeline of changes. I felt I got changed many times and that I have been part of secret projects that are around time travel and aliens and dimensions. I, for some reason, am liked and studied, and I have been able to be around the president in my dreams. I had dreams of meeting presidents and seeing other politicians that I knew were not truly who they said they were. I was able to learn things beyond our earthly normal ability due to my first abduction and learning of energy of thought and law of attraction. Next, I learned about the bases which I dreamed about and meditated many times on. Now, not sure why I had these dreams, but I have learned that there are things going on, and one of the dreams I had was in the mountains of Utah and military base opening. Yeah, that I've had many times, before I moved to Bountiful and when I was in Layton. And I was drawn to it even before I knew that it was over in this direction. I had a feeling it was, of being drawn to this area. And I was put into this place for a purpose. And the bad guys want me here, but the good guys are okay with me being here too, and I'm going to take over this land. That's what's supposed to happen. That's why many of them are messing with me, doing certain things with me, but I saw a tech war happening and certain changes in weather machine malfunctions that will occur or that purposely happen, that take over this area with. There are not just one base, but possibly many bases, as well as underneath any buildings, as well as many buildings and companies that are popular. All either have government funding backing or even have agents that they work that have worked there. Yeah, so all the companies around you, if you feel that you've been abducted, any business around you have agents there. If you were abducted, they're monitoring you. Or if you feel that you've seen an alien sighting or experience or weird things or awarenesses, and you feel that things are happening weird and people saying weird things to you and bringing up stuff when they didn't before, you're connected to an agency, and there's many of them. Your friends, your family, but I don't have anybody necessarily in my life anymore because I noticed the infiltration and the lack of compassion and awareness of my awareness of these weird things that they consider weird things. I don't see them weird anymore. I see them as what is around us. And we're waking to it, and it's going to be very scary to people. It's going to be very apparent, and it's going to throw everybody off. It's going to really mess with people. Oh, I know. I know how deep this goes. Nothing really will shock me that much. Even if it shocks me to a point of, whoa, wow, never thought that. It's going to be more of a, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, that makes sense too. That's horrible, but it makes sense that it happened. Now let's correct it. Now we know it. Now we can correct it. Now we can know what to do and how to handle it a little better, and so that it doesn't have to happen again. So our focuses and awarenesses help us so that we can make a better outcome. So there we go. Okay. So there are both regular agents. This is where it gets interesting. So there are both regular agents and what I call possible sleeper agents. Now again, I tell you that these are possibilities. And let's just say we're all sleeper agents, okay? Even if you don't think you are, you could be. But you don't need to say that you are because you don't want to be. It's if you're not, I don't want you to be, unless you want to be, but I don't think you would want to. Sleeper agents are controlled people that mind control you through your foods and through your awarenesses and through triggers that they've done and implants that they've done to you or messed with you. But even if you're being controlled, you can get out of the control through meditation and manifesting with me and others so we can break that control over us. So we can focus on what we want and not what we don't want. And not worry about what's happened or what may have put us. But those reasons of awareness put us towards knowing that we need to manifest and create a better world away from this control. So don't worry about what's been done or what may be being done. Even if you do, you have the right to worry, but we want the solution and reacting to the fact that you may have been molested or affected secretly, even though you don't think you have been, and you've been molested both in ways sexually that you normally wouldn't do and are against for your sexual preference. That's what they do. They're trying to influence and do that. The one thing I've seen that they allow to be done is they allow guys to molest other guys more, or they allow that to slide if they, in some areas or connections. But if they get caught or told, then they get reprimanded for doing so. There's rules, but then there's no rules. It's really strange the way that the system is set. It just depends on your ability to, and your clearance and your agreements and currency agreements that have been made. I feel people should know at the same time I choose not to fear but cheer. With more understanding comes great freedom, where we can be able to become more wise in our thought. Fearing things are not good feelings, and they only make more things of fear to appear more. So I say don't fear, cheer. So yeah, I feel like I'm part of a resistance that's going to happen because people want a war, or they think that we're enslaved, and that we are in an enslavement system of some form, and whatever is real there is what we'll start to see, but we can get out of it. And yes, they may have all the weapons, and we may feel like there's no hope in sight, but there's always hope. They slip up. A spider can still bite us, right? And kill us even though it's really small, just by its little bite. I'm not telling you bite every alien you see. I'm saying do things that you know is right and learn the manifestation abilities so that we can create a better world for all species. Let them be in their realm that makes them happier and not enslave people where they have freedom in the way they want, and freedom that's causing them to want to enslave people for what they think amenities are. They're going to get better amenities by being peaceful than they would by enslaving. They just don't see it that way, but they will eventually notice it and be aware and open to it. So truth of all things are coming soon, because us that notice these interesting things know this. I don't know if I or others are part of a project or control or to make us be spiritual or not. What I choose to follow is regardless, I have belief in being good and think of good when we find something, then when we can spread the word, when we're ready to act to free those who need to be freed from any kind of enslavement that takes away their free will of knowing what we are and what we hear, for we all are beings of this universe. I have my own belief, and I will express my own testimonies. I don't really have that testimony of that belief system anymore. I know that it helped me get to the real knowledge of what is really out there, and it's more unconditional than the belief system taught, the religion that I was a part of taught, of what I had belief at the end of the book. This is just something I feel is important and felt inspired to share. I don't expect to have others have belief what I saw or accept it as any kind of doctrine. I just want you to know I love you all. I don't tell these things to cause fear or to express to be paranoid. I believe what with great knowledge does in fact require great responsibility, and those who know this and may be part of knowing why this goes on, I ask you to remember God's original creation, the creation we all connected to in all worlds across timelines, time dimensions, timelines, as well as both spiritual and unspiritual, that we all are creations. So I ask you to know I care. So yeah, so there's that. So when we know that things are happening, will we do nothing to save them that suffer? I don't choose to think wrongly of maybe something is and maybe something isn't. I choose to have an open mind to things and find ways in a peaceful manner as best as I possibly can. Now, to help give knowledge of these things, I love all people. Should I also, if they exist, love all other species from other worlds? If I have belief or have personally witnessed them? We may not all follow the same beliefs at the same time. I love all people and species of beings. So now I love you, whoever and whatever reads this or learns of these writings throughout all time and eternity, and know I believe or have belief in my God and belief in the creation that helps create, and I will create. Well, I have belief in the universe and the connection. I think we're all connected as though we're that God, if there's a God. But it's not really God, it's energy. It's more of form. We are many forms in every form, in some form or some way or another. So I just know that we just need to focus on the vibration of what form of reality we want to be part of within that form. I will choose not to destroy. If I ever have or anything considered others as destruction, I ask for your forgiveness. Either way, I choose to stay the path of good. Also, I focus and forgive myself for any lack of forgiveness others do, and I forgive them for their lack of forgiveness. It's fine. I don't worry about things as much as I did back then. I felt I was saying as though I was, but I was still worried and concerned. I was trying to gain and get my family and others to wake up to my awarenesses, but I also didn't want to force them or feel like it. I was just lost, and I was controlled, and I was allowing their emotions to control me, and I was trying to bond with them and to compromise with them, and I realized that compromising isn't good. You need to follow your heart of your form of knowing of knowledge of what you want without compromising your feelings. I will not stop doing the good I feel matters. That's having belief in each other's true good desires of their heart to create, and once we do, then we can help create and do service in any way we can for all. So yeah, once our stresses, once we have all the required life that we desire for ourselves, then we all are able to help each other more. Because now we're healed and can do things more and manifest things more. But it's a lot simpler and a lot more powerful than what we've been originally told. And it's okay. Things are working out. Even with the lack of people in our life and family, we're okay. It's going to work out. There's another individual out there that is okay with the lack of relationship of me not having a family, that I would like some form of unconditional relationship, but I'm not going to compromise with all the trickery systems that are going on. It's not safe for me or them to do that because of their lack of awareness of control. But that's why I was told by the higher form I'd be protected and provided, even if my family and others have chosen not to be my life. And I was shown that I would be alone, that my friends and family wouldn't be there. But that's one of the possibilities that the alien beings have put towards. But then I will be free to be part of a regime of good that is to free humanity and those that want to be freed, and to let us have the reality we're meant to have, a resistance to basically the angels taking over those that took over the world, to recorrect it. But we don't have to get to that reality. We can make the reality of a peaceful world now if you want, but many people are fearing or focusing on fear and wanting that other reality because they think there's no hope. They know that there's hope, but they think it's a lack of possibility because of choices of others. So because of all these doubtings that we've been conditioned to do to each other, and people being told not to manifest with me or come to me and talk to me about these things and learn from me from my heart, and to ask me questions thinking they know what I'm saying, and asking me for advice genuinely, openly, knowing that I care, and then hearing their awareness of how to work with it. It's adaptability that it is. Becoming authentic and being your own form of self is so important, but everybody's following their own individual way due to fear and control that's being done. And we need to come together, not just be individuals, still be individuals, but come together as individuals for each other's individual life by manifesting it to make it so. But many people have been scorned by religious beliefs and religions to have any belief in energy healing practices that are free. They've been told and tricked by so many offering free practices in it to gain. Even people that I like their videos are doing it to gain. And I'm not against them doing it in the way that they've chosen, but it's not necessary. What's necessary is healing and creating, manifesting our actual life and desires. So here we go. I also know there are many interpretations that people don't read others well. We are said to love others as we would like to be loved. At the same time, I say love others not just as themselves, but love them as you would your religious deity, such as Christ, who I have belief in, and be aware that he matters to me. I love the fact that he taught many things. One thing I will help you remember is love others as if they are Christ beings. Christ said info such as those who you do things for, you do them as if you're doing them to him. Now, I know there are many that may read this that don't want an excuse to love someone, to just love someone in the way they feel they need to be loved, heard, and understood. And also let them know how you feel and what you want to be known as. Also, when you treat others out of love, value, heart, as I'm going to add to that, do it in the understanding of loving others the way you want to be loved as well as love yourself in the way you want to be loved so that love can show up in the ways you want. I'm also going to say this, I might say this, love others in the way they want to be loved in the way that you're comfortable loving them in. Doesn't mean that you have to love them in the way they want to be loved if you don't want to love that way. I'm talking about sexual pleasures or things. If a man tries to tell you, I want you to lay and cuddle with me, and you're a man as well, and you're not into that, you say, well, I'm not gay, and you're not meaning it in a mean way, they say, well, I'm not either. I just want comfort. I just want you to give me your come in me. And they play these games, and I've heard a lot of these joking and trickeries in the church I grew up in. The Zionist community, even though they're all about saying they're about following the laws of chastity and the belief of what not do sexual sin and man and woman in marriage type stuff, they do sexual stuff like this, and they say, but we're not perfect. They do a lot of pedophilia focuses or failings that they've done, but they get away with it or have gotten away with it secretly, acting like they're one thing when they were something totally different. And then when they get caught, they out them and they blame it on that individual's choices and that's on them, and that the church isn't about that when they're secretly still doing that within the church and joking in those ways within the churches. And then they allow freedoms in some ways of agreements in their handbooks now or other things, but then they secretly are still about certain values. It's really controlling you and brain manipulation. That's what it is. Scientology does it too. And it's to control the children to grow up the way they want them to. And then protecting those who handle the system well, even if their focus is not right. They get around and allow them to get away with it if they don't think what they're doing is wrong. And pretending and lying, but then letting them act like they're not. And being free, knowing full well they're lying and deceiving and doing those things. So it's very interesting the way they do this. So I'm talking about value, heart, love, and loving individuals in the way of their desired life to have what they want. Doesn't mean you have to have what they want too, but have belief that it's there for them. Care about them for their choice of life path. Let yourself be equally allowed to do what you feel is right for you, as long as it's not pushing children or molesting or enslaving others. That's wrong. It's not the right vibration of what is full freedom for the growth, if that's what you're wanting. And I want that for me. That's the life and path I choose, and the society I want to be part of is a free society of love and letting people be what they want without trying to convince others to be a certain way. Letting everybody rule their own individual life, but then helping each other manifest the needs that are required, and focusing on it. So anyway, when I was in the church and other times, and when I brought up my experiences, I was misunderstood in the past, but as soon as I saw the connections in my mind of teachings of Christ and science connecting together, and brain thought and feeling connections said so plainly to me, I realized I needed to learn these things. I have witnessed and researched these topics because there are many beings and people that may need to learn these concepts. Those that are in our life and lives that don't know we need to teach all, and we can learn from all. At the same time, I choose to speak of hope and of knowledge and of value, heart, love in this book, not of fear. There may be many things we can fear, but again, don't fear, cheer, and don't be afraid. Be brave and also get your hopes up in everything. So correct the world around you by thinking that it's better and making it better. Don't ignore the abuses. Let the abuses be known and correct them so that they can change and adapt. Because those who are narcissists will try to adapt to look good once they get outed as they're not following what is good, even though they say they were. Or they'll change around because they know they'll lose money and lose funding and lose people and slaves that way. So hopes are important. There will be a tough times. At the same time, we don't have to keep making things tougher but calmer, so that we can learn from any experience, even the weird times, even the weird. Sometimes we all are shown things individually that others won't be shown, and we wonder why. Why didn't our leaders or others tell us or teach us these things that are hidden from us that now are being told? Well, since they didn't, then it was a deception. Not always. Sometimes the lowly of servants are shown to bringing them higher as even greater servants of our faith. So being calm is peace. Feeling calm, doing your best to feel calm, not telling people to be calm or think or doubting their calmness or peace, but trusting they are, or focusing and helping them get there in the way they feel they need to, rather than saying what they are or what they aren't, listening to their heart and letting their heart grow in the way they know is needed, and be there for them. So as timelines, as dimensions, as secret bases are around us, there are many things we start to fear and wonder, and some even lose their faith in their churches, fearing they're being infiltrated or created just to keep us enslaved. Reptilians run our countries. The Illuminati is connected to our government and Hollywood, some say. Well, I will tell you this. I don't care about the evil that may be, or the Masons having knowledge that we don't, and the Zionists. What I care is once we know certain knowledge as certainty, then we act. I know a lot. The difference is I choose to be happy and choose to be who I am and show love and value. I will not follow past mistakes and push my beliefs on others, or accept people to be afraid of hell or spirit prison or alien invasion, or to be enslaved, or that we are. Instead, I say we are still free in your heart, and can still free your mind from this fear. At the same time, if you know what is going on, then act. Do what you can to free those enslaved, those in abuse, those being hurt. And if you can't, either way, do this in your mind. Visualize if you can. Think strongly for others. Love them, appreciate them, love them unconditionally. Visualize and see their happiness in the way they want full happiness, and it will be better than what you're feeling and seeing and what they feel they see. And visualize that they visualize whatever it is they want to have for them, for peace and healing and needs. Even if you don't know what those needs are, what you think those needs should be is not what is necessary for their freedom. Even if you think it is. It's more than that. It may be more than what you are aware of. So trust they know and they are aware, but trust those things you know, that they know what you know, and they know more than what you may know. And whatever it is that's happening, even if you don't know or they don't know, it will free both of you to know, and you'll be okay. It's a very unconditional, very deep focus of freedom. All will be known. All will be shown. All will be healed. All will be protected. You will put a protection on you first, then all will be shown, and you won't be affected by it. Even if you were affected by it, it will free you from it. Trust in your heart. For those who deal with abuse and things, check out my emotional and religious chapters. Yeah, the emotional chapters bring up a lot of the same things I'm mentioning right now that I just said that I'm adding on to this chapter. So as you have learned, we are all connected. Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, cool. So yeah, as you have learned, we are all connected. We all get inspiration from many directions and many connections, and it's up to us to act upon what is good for us and for others around us, to be open to learning and loving and recognizing each other's individual wants and needs. And our wants and needs, I want you to know that regardless of where any of us or beings originate from, I still believe in all of us and you always to me. We are all connected and have many cultures to love and value, heart, and learn from. So I will now go into the next chapter for how I learned connections, so that those who wonder the connections can learn from what I learned and learn their own learnings too. Because you're going to learn things that I don't know that are necessary for you, and I want that to be for you. I still recommend to not just take my word for it. Go research and search on the internet and find all things you feel are important for you, or even those things you feel drawn to. Follow your value system and make sure you recognize this is your choice, and I will personally pray you get the answers you seek, to find answers to questions you're looking for. I know in my mind, I see as if you know now whatever it is you need to know. Not what I think you should know, what you feel and are inspired to know, because you may already know what I know, but what is more important is come together with people, meditate with them. If you don't feel like I'm the one to do that with, once you realize what I've gone through and that you can do it, you'll want to do it with me. And if you don't want to do it with me, you'll do it with others that are more vibrational towards what you can, and you'll vibrate for them, for me, and others in the way that we need, and then eventually we'll all come together and do that more for each other. And we're not going to necessarily meditate or pray. We're just going to think good thoughts and have the powers and just call it into being, to where we don't even have to meditate anymore. We are that meditation. So as we transition to the next chapter, I want all to know I have belief in you. Don't be afraid, be brave. Don't fear, but cheer. Get your hopes up. I trust in all the knowledge I've learned, and many of it may be changing all the time. At the same time, I have belief in loving all of us and value all of us. I care for people more because I was raised and experienced things others have that not everyone believes or chooses to see as a strength or something to look at. So this is on page 113. This is the end of the chapter here. So at the same time, since I know what I saw, I chose to be aware. So this is the last paragraph. Aware of others that are going through the same questions I have. So search, find, and you will be greatly blessed when you open your heart to love. I have belief in you and see you achieving your full life. And beyond. Desire for you, your family, and all that you desire or want. So as you think, believe, and feel good, you will be guided. That is what I know. And when you do it genuinely, you will learn how to be there for what you have chosen is your path. So I welcome you to read on And if you wish to learn a certain understanding, check out the chapter you wish. But just know I have belief in you. I am thinking of you and praying, and know you have now found the path and answers through knowing now what could be and what you've been searching for. That is my hope, and I see as if it's happening for me. And you know I have belief in your dreams now and forevermore. And I see through this thought and belief and feeling that they are true now instantly for me and for you always, forever, eternally. Okay, there we go. So chapter 7 is the religious beliefs and how they fit with aliens and connections with our dreams through faith and belief to help us recognize your full physical, spiritual, and give us hope and answers for reasons for being. I'm going to be changing that a lot when I do that recording, because there's a huge knowledge that needs to be told in there and brought up. Yeah, it's a big chapter, but I'm going to be correcting that chapter a ton, so that next recording for chapter 7 will probably be pretty long, but it might be shorter because I'll just be going through it and altering it a lot to a better focus of awareness. Now, 8 is empaths and other abilities and how they connect with both alien and spiritual gifts explained. That one's a good chapter. 9 is concepts of series. That one's going to be interesting. I've already brought up a lot of that already. But yeah, 9 is going to be a long one. Possibly. Not way too long, but yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But nine's a good one because it brings up the law of attraction or religious. 8 and past. Yeah. But 9, what is 9 about? Yeah, so it's about taking religious beliefs. That one's going to be a little bit interesting. Sorry, I'm just going over this so that you're aware of what's coming up. So you know what's about to be talked about. So, yeah, so what is, to give you a heads up, so 7 is the belief chapter. I'm going to be altering some of the information being told in there. In chapter 8, there's going to be some things that are going to be changed in there too. I noticed has some religious awarenesses that I was following. And then chapter 9 is a huge chapter, concepts and problems and things. It's just overviews. That one's definitely going to have a lot of things I'm going to alter or define in a better way than the way that it comes across is defined as, the way I wrote it. And then, but 10 will be similar, but it won't be as bad. It will actually bring up a lot of what I already do now. And then 11 is going to be probably my favorite chapter because I'm going to bring up what my whole life focus is and what I know we all can do. But let's figure that out. So, next chapter is going to be a little bit cringy for some, but I'm going to correct it, so no worries there of what I'm about, really. And then once I get into 8, I like 8, and I'm going to update that too, and it's going to be a little bit different. So we're getting there. We're getting there. So we're halfway done, and it's pretty much, I was almost halfway done yesterday, or what I said as though I was. But yeah, we're halfway done. Everything's working good. I appreciate all of you. So I wanted to end with telling you that you can manifest your desired life is a reality. So the way that you do that is you focus on your desired hopes in your heart. You have what you want. You don't worry about the pains or the things been done to you. You heal those pains away, and you do that with each other. You focus that you're already that which you have wished to be, and that you're in that life and freedom of your hopes. And then you get into that reality realm, or that realm that you're in changes into that form. And so we're changing with peace and more peace as we do that with each other. So because I outed pain being done to me, those people get outed or attacked or targeted for doing that to me, or it being told, and people hearing it and being aware to it. Now, these attacks or these forms, people will try to stop it now, or they'll try to make it even worse, or certain individuals will be messed with for doing it. But it's not going to be worse. What's going to happen is whatever happens is going to perpetuate a healing for me and for others, because that's what we want, right? That's what I want. So we're going to focus on that. I've learned how to stay awake in certain fashions, and I'm working at that. But I have noticed that they've done certain things to me and others to try to get us to be hurt, or to turn us into a certain purpose of person or being that they feel we should be. But what's happening is these other beings that I have told you are coming are protecting me for those attacks. And when things like that happen, they take it even stronger and seriously. Knowing that it's happened more than once is really wrong and irritating to their eye. And knowing that it's connected to Zionist connection and olive branches and ideas of crystal biblical teachings to push me, they're basically doing tactical forms of attacks at me, and tactical is many forms of ways. But they know I need to get out of here. I know I need to get out, but I'm being protected until I can, or until people are taking it seriously and manifesting with me and praying with me and thinking good thoughts and vibes for me right now. Those that feel they can, we all can heal and manifest. Even if you feel you're a warrior, even if you feel that you can do this, and you might be my only hope. Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. No, you might be my only hope. And so listen about that. Be good. Heal us. Be healing. Be the healing for me and you and for all of us. And let me heal with you and be the healing for you, with me being healed by you, and me, get your children to pray for me, get others to think goodly of me and others unconditionally. Let's pray for one another. Let's get other people to do that for others. Anybody I know, if I hear that someone needs to pray, I'll tell people to pray for others. But I'm a little concerned about those praying. I don't know anybody that I can tell that might agree with praying anymore, because I've been isolated and pushed away from these individuals, and I've chosen to get away from certain individuals and family because of what's been done to me. And it doesn't mean that they meant to, and it doesn't mean that they're bad. It's just that they're misled to thinking that I'm misled. And that's how they get you, is they get your family and each other to turn against each other and not be there for each other. But what's interesting is them choosing not to recognize my needs and not willingness to meditate and pray with me, and not call me once in a while and see how I'm doing because of my health needs. And when I have reached out, it's always been them trying to tell me they don't have time, or that I should just know when. And this is part of the control. They want me to be focused and invested in a family drama system, so that there is no healing being done for them or for me. So we have to get away from the drama and be more unconditional for each other. And those that can't be that way with me, I haven't been there in their life or communicated with them, but I've always told them when they're around me, if they come in my life or choose to, about that. But many of them have busy life and busy focuses because they're being put into busy focuses, and they're being taught particular way. Now, they also adapt and try to think certain ways for people. All I really want to do for my parents and family, and they've done a lot for me. And the reason why I want to do this for them is because they've done things for me that I haven't told a lot of people about at this time. They have financially helped me at times. They have helped me with these huge things. But now they've conditionalized it. And maybe I was part of the conditioning because I couldn't comply to their ways of belief. And because I needed this other belief way and they didn't understand or want to be able to do that, or they just couldn't even if they wanted to for them. And that's okay. And some of them are being pushed into not choosing to. It's all a choice. But it's okay. I forgive that and I'm okay. I've learned to deal with disappointment a lot, and I've learned to get around that disappointment. That's why I really need all of you to pray and think goodly of me, because that's all I really want for my family and me and others, even if we have different beliefs or awarenesses, even if I feel that I've had warning dreams about certain brothers or family members, I still care about them. I still love them. I still want them to be okay and safe. They don't think that. They've told me that. I've heard some of them tell me that, particularly, and I said, that's not true. I do. I actually want you to be okay. I just know that there's more going on that you're not willing or able to acknowledge, or that you have acknowledged, you're just justifying its actions because you're part of the control, even if you don't know that you are. And you think it's okay. You think that there's a bigger purpose, or you think you can't stop it. So you're just letting it grow and destroy and enslave more. And so people think that there's a savior that's supposed to come and save us all, but it's really our hearts that help us save us. And there is possible savior beings coming that will make up that when our energies are ready for it and when we accept that it will be. They're here, they're coming, they're meant to come. It says it in all the ancient texts, religious and scientific texts, saying they're coming, that the energy of these forms are meant to come in this reality and all realities that have this knowledge in those realities, those texts being mentioned. They're going to many realities, many timelines, and bringing them together and correcting those that are good. They're taking them into the realm of good. Those that are bad are going in the realm of bad because that's where they want to be. Those that think they want to be in the bad will realize they don't, and they'll be put in the good instead. They'll put in the reality that they think is what they want and is exactly what they want. They'll get exactly what they wanted even if they don't think they're getting what they really desire, what will be the best for them, that from their heart or acceptance of what can be. And it will heal the pains and the problems and correction. But it starts with us first by acknowledging the awarenesses of the pain and not ignoring them and freeing people. But some people think certain people will die and not be able to. Well, I've been told that I wouldn't do certain things or grow up certain ways, and I always proved them wrong. I was always able to correct things and show a different way of being able to show that this is possible, even when everybody else doubted me. And I was like, nope, it's going to happen because I know it's how it happens. I'm finding solutions. I know what's going on. I know it's there. Let's correct this. And then I did. Now, there were certain things that happened that I felt that shouldn't have happened, and certain focuses that they were doing that was causing pinching or problems because they didn't want to do surgeries, where we could have just done energy science. We didn't need to do braces on my back or whatever. We can just correct it without the braces, have full functional feet or shoes that are more comfortable and more easier focused, and get the massages that we need and recorrection of energy, healing focuses that are best, and eating the right foods. And I kind of knew this growing up, and we were kind of following it, but then we didn't know how important it was. But as I got older, I started to realize it's even more important than what they were showing or telling us. So I grew up knowing things, and then the world started to change against it even the religions started to go along with the change and allow the controlled change, which is not healthy or right. So I've learned what we need to do and what is important, what we need to go towards, and what is a better path. And things have been altered for a purpose and misunderstood for a purpose by these beings, thinking that this is what we wanted, when that's not what we wanted. They were misinterpreting us. The AI system malfunctioned. They don't realize what we really see peace as. And everybody's different. And they just kind of compromise, thinking that that's what we need, is compromise with them and what they think is more important than our feelings and emotions, because they don't follow emotions of understanding of creation for some of them. Some of them do, and those that do know why it's important for us if they understand our similar emotions as theirs. But some of them are misinterpreting our emotions, thinking that we have the same type of emotions as them, or the same type of awarenesses or purposes as them, when it's more unconditional and more healing. So there we go. So I wanted to let you be aware that we're all free if we want to be free. But it's the focus of agreeing that we're free is the first start. We need to accept the freedom, and we need to bring the freedom by manifesting it and acknowledging the programs that have been going on. Don't hide them. Don't act like they're not there. Let them be known, but then correct what's been known into what now needs to be. And that's how it works. You correct the system by influencing people to go the system you want it to go into, rather than being afraid of any other system. It's about acknowledgement of freedom of the system to be a certain path of system direction. And so that's how this works. So you want to acknowledge and be aware of these controlled reasonings behind people trying to acknowledge these purposes. Very clever dudes. These guys are clever. They're evil, but they're clever. Or they're giving clues or inspirational purposes. So here's the thing that we need to understand. We get knowledge and awarenesses, and they're trying to get us to focus on what they want us to focus on, rather than what we should be focusing on. They might give us clues and things about certain things and warnings and information, but why they're doing that, we need to also do other things that are our focuses, not the way others think we should focus, or being told strategically to get focused on or be aware of or get caught in. But acknowledge and notice what they do and what they're capable of doing. And that everything they do is their form of awareness of reality to show you their power, show you their control, show you their awareness and reasoning behind things. And so it's a very interesting purpose, and I'm going to get into this right now. What we want in our life is what we can have, and it's already existent for those that want it. So I'm going to tell you this, and again, I'll try not to get this to 3 hours. I'll get it to maybe 2 hours and 45 minutes or a little less. I want you to know that I understand that your focus on your house and your car and all of that is what matters most to you, right? You want those things. Now, maybe there's something else you want or hope for or think is supposed to be attained, or would help you, or is something you feel you need to do in this world. Having a job or having a certain thing or a pay raise or something is what you think is what you want right now, or think is okay for you right now. What you really want is you want to look bigger than that. You want to go bigger where you don't have to work again. You don't have to do those things unless you want to. But you have enough to where you don't have to work yourself to death or work others to death. You have your freedom. And then if you still want to work in that atmosphere or be that way, you'll be a little bit more free and less stressful on people and yourself in that manner of way. And that's what you'll do. That's what you'll focus on. That's what you'll be. And so I'm going to tell you this right now. You're awesome. You're amazing. And you're good to go. You're taken care of and you're fine. You're going to be okay. You're going to be provided all that you wish. And you're amazingly, powerfully provided the directional path of your choosing. So just understand you're an amazing individual and you have great insight and you have great atmospheric abilities to do more than what others have told you you can or shall do. You're amazing, okay? So let's go into this purpose and then I'll end the recording. You want to look at what you want in your life. So what is it you have that is connected to what you're choosing to achieve? See yourself already in the home that you wish to be in. See yourself already in the house, the home, the style of lifestyle, and the car and transportation or whatever method that you feel is safe. And the atmosphere and the weather or the state you wish to be in or the safety you wish to have. Trust that you have it all. Okay? You have it all. It's all yours. It's all been given. It's all provided. You're all good. Okay. Now, you don't need to know where you're going to be brought to and what it's going to have to be. You're going to get all the needs you want, and it's going to be a lot easier than what you've already been given. Now, what's the next thing that's going to happen? Now you're going to see yourself in that position of already achieved it. You're going to feel it. Feel like you can do it all day, as if you fell in love, as if someone treated you kindly, hugged you, cared about you, nurtured you, didn't judge you, loved you completely like a child would, or a pet, or just as loving you, not irritating you, doing all the things you want to be done for you. In every aspect of your feelings, your life, and everything. You can just do all day. You can just focus on it. You just enjoy it. And it's okay. And it's okay to do it. It's not keeping you from anything. It's not keeping you from what you are required to be. You are that already. You're free. This is your reward. So focus is every day is a reward. That you are the reward. That you've been given that reward. And that these things are rewards. That they are accomplishments. They've been freely given to you. You've been allowed these things. You've been gifted these things. This is your agreement to do what you want with. It's your freedom to do what you are, be who you are. There is no restrictions. You're free to be you. And it's not abusing other people. It's not causing harm to others. And you're being understanding and healing from any abuses that you don't understand is wrong. And it's healing so that it's not putting other people in harm's way or beings or people or any form of life. In fact, it's all of those things are just adapting around you and getting out of your way and loving you, and you're loving them because you're so in tuned and so aware of what is important to you and them. And that is how this works. So see yourself signing paperwork or signing things that give you assets or give you requirements and resources and land for those things. And see yourself in that there's plenty enough for you and that others are getting it too. Now, if you're trying to rule the world, that's kind of going off of the fact. If you're ruling the world, there will be others that will have their own worlds to rule over. And so what will happen is you'll be in a different timeline or you'll be in a different world realm that you rule over. or whoever you'll gain an Earth similar to this Earth, and it will be as though it's this Earth, but it will be better than this planet. It will be your own planet, if that's what you're hoping for. If you're trying to rule a world or have rule over a planet controlled system, it'll be your perfect atmosphere, your perfect energy around you, and it will last as long as you do and longer for the species on that planet. And you'll be cheered, you'll be loved, you'll be praised in the way you want to be praised in or appreciated in, or whatever it is. And it will be a legacy. It's your legacy. And so see yourself in that atmosphere, feel it, notice it. It's awesome. You feel peaceful, you feel great. It's very simple. You're just given it. It's just at your door. You get a text or a call, and it's provided to you. You get it in the mail. You get things, but it happens exactly in the manner that you want in. And that's the same focus I do. It's the manner that I want it in. It's the manner that I hope it in. Now, bless it into being, because it is. And do it with me and others by saying, it's already happened. It's already happened. It's already happened for all of us. For what we all individually require for us, and for the others that individualize the same vibrational of that freedom for us, for stress-free healing, peace, and requirement, because it really is important. It's urgent right now, but it's not in an urgency of fear. It's an urgency of knowing how important it is. So it's going to be because it has to. It's meant to. It's what will free you and help you, because it is what needs to happen so that things can be freed, so that things don't get worse or are worse. We're focusing on peace and healing and creation of your peace and healing of what you feel works. And we're all part of that now. And so we now are good. We now have that atmosphere in the life and the realm and pocket dimension, or whatever form that we need for us. We're good. We're totally awesome. It's totally amazing. It's totally powerful. It's totally protective, or totally aware of these purposes. We are free. We are free. You are free. We're all free in the way we want to be free. We all have the resources. We all have the things. It's already done. So it's already happened. It's already happened. It's already happened. It's already done. It's already done. It's already done. Now, now, now. Heal, heal, heal. Provide, provide, provide. Manifest, manifest, manifest. Whatever word you want to say that I'm not saying, it's from the heart. Heal, create, manifest. It is done. For those of you that just manifested your desire and you noticed it real time, please let me know. Those of you that don't choose to or don't think it's necessary, then you don't need to. It's fine. What's great about this is we can do this as many times and keep doing this together with our hearts, and it will work. And we do it with a full peace focus of making it happen. We can do it freely. We don't have to listen to music necessarily all the time. We can just listen to each other's feelings and vibrational speech and know that it's really from the heart. Everything I'm saying right now and have said is from the heart. And it's honestly, genuinely said. I am awesome, and I know you're awesome, and we're just great. Please reach out to me more, and please do this for me every day if you can, if you choose to. And I'm doing this for you with my effort. But it is better when we come together and talk to each other, knowing that each other is actually doing it for each other, rather than guessing that we are. But it's okay. I bless you. You're doing what you feel. I'll do some other videos of this same form of blessing later. Right now, I'm just going to focus on the book and get the book done. So the next chapter will be chapter 7, and there's 13 chapters. So the 7 is a religious chapter. 8 is the empath chapter. 9 is concept chapter, and then 10 is when we start doing the emotional chapter. 11 is the law of attraction chapter, and 12 is straight to the point, and 13 is hope and overview chapter. And I'm doing this just from my mind. I'm not even reading it right now. I know that this is how it is, and then I'll do the ending statement and my ending recording information of things. Now, if people want me to do a question and answer for the book, or question and answer about what I'm about, and they want me to answer that section, submit your questions to me by email, and I will look at all those questions and I will give those answers. If no one gives me any questions, then no answers will be given. We'll just go on to manifesting and focusing on meditation techniques. And I'm just simplifying the meditation techniques. I'm following my thoughts, my feelings as one with the practices of what they said helped with the sciences focus. And really it's just prayer, belief, children, becoming like children, like belief focus, and just really making it happen and focusing that it is, and then talking about the story that you want to be real as, and then talking and making it known over and over and over so that it does. So that's the focus I'm preferring to do. So then we can focus on what's really going on around us. There's so many things going around us. There are beings around us, and some of them are hiding for their own purposes because of diseases or other reasonings. But some of them are doing it because they've made agreements and contingencies to do so to control. But it's more than that. So this is why I'm more focused on manifesting and healing rather than worrying. Let's create a reality of peace, direction, rather than fear. I prefer that. Now, many people may not understand why that's important, but I do. So anyway, I appreciate you all. I thank you for all that you do. Just know that my thoughts are with you. There you go. And I bless you again. For those that want to be blessed, you can reach me at 801-499-4494. That's my cell. You can text me as well, as long as you're not abusing me or trying to mess with me or others. I'm about peace and healing. And those that aren't, please go to someone else that you're more vibed to, rather than me, that you resonate with, that follows your belief system, rather than what I'm about for all people and beings alike. And I forgive you for not being my form of direction. That's fine. But I'm going to follow what I feel is not abusive and what is healing for me because of how urgent it is for those that require it, such as myself, many times. And I'm not going to worry about the urgency or put a bad vibration about it or think in that way. Please don't think in that way as well for those that know it but try to think against it. I forgive you in that focus. Let's just manifest. Let's just focus and make it so. Those that can provide the funds for me, the funds that I'm looking to manifest is the 400 million to 8 billion, so that I can make businesses or things to bring a free world. Because I'll make land and grow crops and grow things and manifest and pray over those crops and have people and workers do the same that want to, and give resources for this world that we're not fully getting like we need to, and then to manifest with them every day, and then me feeling free because I'm financially okay and safe for my healing. I can then be able to do more of a focus like I know is meant to happen. If not, then whatever is going to occur, I just hope it happens fast, so that I don't have to deal with the pain that I've dealt with enough on. I don't need this pain, and nor do you. Allowing me to stay in pain is wrong. It's better to heal it or let me be dead quick. And it's not right to keep me and others in pain or controlled enslavement in this way, because you think it's You think that it's kind and respectful to just let us die in your form of belief of natural when it's really a controlled death. And yet I was inspired that we should manifest things in a being from the higher self that taught me these things, told me what to do, that I'd be okay. So let's do this and let's do that. So me being healed and getting healing is being looked at people as if that's bad. All the religious people that believe in healing and manifesting healing through Jesus Christ healing and saying to do this is bad because it's this being taught that way for us to do that and to do it unconditionally to everybody, and that healing is bad, or that I was deceived through being healed. That doesn't make sense, because they believe in a conditional healing that they think is the full healing. That's fake healing. It's controlled healing and abusive healing that they think is done a certain pattern that keeps changing, and they are realizing it, and but they're only going to do it until their leaders tell them it's now allowed to do that way, and that it's okay to do that way now. And then people will be like, oh yeah, now we can do that, it's all good. We couldn't before, but we can now. But the church is still true, even though it keeps changing. And it's a manipulative system to adapt to what is really in control at the time. That's what's happening. That's what's been occurring. And why they say they follow one thing, they're following another. And so we want to bless and heal me and others that are been abused by these systems. And that's my focus, is let's heal, because we need to. If not, then these systems are going to take over, and you're not going to like what the regime is. And if you don't, you might even if you think you will like it, you might, because you'll be brain controlled to like it. But that's not freedom, that's slavery. And then you'll slowly die inside. Your higher form will be hurt by it. But it's not meant to happen. But there are forms of realities, beings that want it this way. And so those that want to stay with those beliefs and be tricked in that way can, but there's many of us that were dying of cancer, knew that there was cures, and were inspired to tell people about it so that we can heal naturally, and to do what's right, and to forgive others and love and heal, and know that regardless of what's going on, do our part, and that the higher forms are coming to correct it regardless, because of our hearts wanting that, and knowing that that is what's meant, because we reached out to them, and they're taking it seriously to a degree of what they know they can work towards and make. Like the ancient text said, we're supposed to happen anyway. So the timeline of that I've noticed is between 2020, which we're in now, to 2022 will be one form, and then 2024, by the end of 2024, that will be the latest that things will happen and change. And the beings will come by that time. If they don't, by 2030, we'll have other things happen. But by 2040, at the most. But from what I've witnessed and felt, many of us will be okay by 2024. By the end of 2024, things will occur enough that we'll know what needs to be done. Because then you have 2 years left for the full disclosure that many have said will happen. But it's actually 2017 to 2022. It's always been that. They've tried to alter it and change it, but it's always been 2017 to 2022. So 2024 is just the recognition of awareness of this new awareness of knowledge and disclosure. And that's why a new regime change happens to control and enslave people towards a mark of the beast or something. But they're already trying to do the mark of the beast system this year. So this year is the time that really matters, that decides the future fate. So many possibilities are being decided right now. Everybody's choosing their side. Today is the day that you've chosen the side that you're on. If you're still not sure what side you're on, you are on the side of your heart, even if you don't know what your heart wants. You've chosen what your heart is. And even if you're being deceived, you're okay because you're going to go by what you know is real. And when you realize the real side, you'll be on the side that you really fully follow, even if you don't know you're following it. Even if you're against it and then you actually really are for it, you're on the side of what really matters, and you'll be corrected from that deception. You're okay. Okay? If you're about peace and focus on peace, and happiness for you, and you want to be that for others, but you know you're not, but you desire to, you'll become that way. You're okay. If you're doing what you feel is right, and you've done good things, and you hope you get rewards for doing good things, because you feel that that's better than the other, because you know how it feels to hurt, you'll get knowledge of that awareness, and you're fine. You're going to wake up to it. You've already wakened up to it. So you're doing okay. You're okay. So just know that my thoughts are with you. We're all fine. We're all creating a better life and direction. You're amazing. We're all amazing. And we have our desired life. So I bless you with my heart. That your desired life, vision, goals have already happened, already happened, already happened, already done, already done, already done. Now, now, now. From my heart to yours. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe to hear any meditation focuses or any information, because when I do achieve my desired life, I will bring up new information on the channel. I will let you know, and I'll have new abilities to make better videos, or people helping me make videos at that time. And so that we can help the world know more information and help them be updated to the new way of being at that time of the knowledge that's going on. A new knowledge that comes out that I and others learn and feel need to be told more, if that's the case. But hopefully we won't need to. I'm hoping that this is enough and that we can just get this working and going towards. And then those that want me to share their stories, I'll share your stories. So I appreciate your time. Just letting you be aware of who I am and what I am. And take care. Okay. Bless you all.